Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. This is the Monday painting video. For everyone that's new, what is it about? Well, every weekly Wednesday I show you guys a host of models and you vote on them, and whichever one wins the vote is what I paint on the Monday painting video. At the moment there's only one painting video a week just because I've got so many little odd jobs to do here that just bogs me down and I can't get a second painting video done, but I hopefully will be able to do that soon. For all my regulars here, guys, I feel love, thank you very much. I'll see you in a second. So what won the vote? It was this sneaky little goblin won the vote. Absolutely amazing model. It's an old lead model. I think it's Avatar's of War, I think. But look at that mushroom. It's a nice big skull on it. There's a few little bits there at the bottom. We started black painting take two, but it's not an issue. And his cloak a little bit there, it's underneath his hood. But again, it's not an issue. For some reason, it's come straight through the bottom here, the base, the way I glued it on. I don't know why, but that's not an issue. I can clip that off afterwards to make sure it sits down flat. So colours on here. I'm going to set a wet palette up and talk you through it, but there's not very much skin. Arms, head is 1 foot, looks like 2 feet. It's not very much skin on the show at all, but that stuff is absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to set up a wet palette, sort out what I'm going to do, and then I'll come back to you then. Right, so wet palette. I've got some Goblin green. It's an old paint, but you know, I can't paint. Well, I can paint goblins and orcs without that colour, but I prefer to use that colour because it's pretty much. I don't know what the equivalent of it is now, but if anyone knows, chuck on below. Let everyone else know. Beaten copper, Rhinox hide, Mornfang brown, Gothica brown. Or one of them's Gothica brown. The other one's Gothica brown. That's Baneblade brown. That is Wraithbone, Screaming Skull, White Scars, and some Lothern blue. Now, I do have this lovely colour in the background, Rookie Violet. I do have a plan for that, but it's the first time I'm ever going to use that shade, so what's it going weird for? Focusing. So I'm going to start with the Goblin skin, nice and easy. So I'm going to take some Goblin green. Now, it doesn't have much skin on the show. Take Goblin green. Again, I'm not going to do the whole model. I'm just going to do a little bit on camera and then go off camera and do the rest of it. I think once the skin's done, the model will start to pop really quickly. So I'm going to go off camera and do the rest. So here we are. Now I'm going to go with some Mornfang brown, and I'm going to start doing all the fur that's on him. So all this fur around his cloak. So things around the hood of the cloak, to be honest with you. I'm going to go off camera and do as much more as if there's any more I can find. Right, so now I'm going to get some Hexbone Wraith, and I'm going to come in onto the his staff, because it is like a giant bone with a mushroom on top, which is absolute bonkers. But that's one thing I love about goblins and greenskins. They are absolutely bonkers, especially the goblins. I'm going to do the top of this as well. Okay, I'm just whacking on it so you can see. There's a little horn there. And then I'm going to come back to you afterwards. So there we are. So now what I'm going to do, as that's drying, I'm going to come in with some rhinox hide. I'm going to take all these leather straps out on the staff. It's a fantastic model this is. Most goblin models are actually, you know, fantastic just because they're absolutely bonkers. Even rank and file, they're actually doing bonkers things. So leave it to dry. Right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something that's a little bit ahead of time. And some of you are going to say, oh John, that's a bit out of sequence. What are you doing that for? All will be revealed. Sorry, can't talk then. I'm going to get some white scars white on the brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of just give it a quick brush over, like a dry brush, on the top of this top of his staff. But I'm not dry brushing, I'm sort of just trying to get the main raised points. So along the side there where it cones up, just trying to get that point. Across the eyes and the face. Just hit the brown a little bit there because there's a bit of brown coming through. Doesn't matter, it's not a big issue. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm not doing it on the bone and I'm not doing it on the claw. I'm just going to keep going over the top of this. Give it a minute to dry, do it again 2 or 3 times. I'm going to do that, okay? So that's where we are, guys. You can clearly see the white really sticking out. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go with some Gothica brown, and I'm going to come in and do the robe. Do his robe nice and easy. So a real nice brown this one is. Now I was going to go with contrast paint on the robe, on his cloak and stuff, and I said no, I don't really want to do a vibrant blue or anything like that, because I have a plan for the mushroom. It could be an amazing plan, or it could backfire a little bit. Doesn't matter. That's the fun of painting videos. You just work away. Now I'm not painting these clothes in front of him with the brown. I'm just doing his cloak. So I'm going to go off camera and do the rest. And here we are now. I love this colour. Look how dirty brown that looks. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I'm not doing the clothes, and I'm not doing the hood. That's the one outfit. The fur and the cloak is a different outfit. So now what I'm going to do, I've got a shade brush. I'm going to do this crazy idea I have with some Druchii Violet, and I'm going to shade the mushroom. Now you see why I did the white scars. So there's going to be certain areas that are going to be lighter than others. I'm not swamping it with the Druchii Violet because this is a cone shape. So if I swamp it, the Druchii Violet's going to really just pull down towards the bottom, and I don't want that. I want it to fall into all the little recesses that are in there. You can see all the little recesses. Absolutely fantastic. Should I do that as well? No, I don't think I should, because that really stands out. So now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to leave it to dry for a minute and then come back to it. Right, so now I've got some beaten copper, and it's got a little copper pot here. I'm going to paint this up. It's got a heap of magic mushrooms hanging out of it. So I'm going to put a nice little once over. The thing with me painting this copper as well, it's going to stand out even more from the rest of the model. So when you're looking at it, there's so many different colourful things to look at that are not out of place from each other, but just really make it pop. I might have watered that down a bit too much, a bit of copper. I'll see when it dries. What I'm going to look for is any other little trinkets he has hanging off himself. I saw one on the back here. Yes, a little man. Right, now leave that to dry. There's two things. There's a little trinket on his hanging off his staff there. Yeah. And the mushrooms in the bucket, I forgot to paint them, so I painted them with the Hex Wraith. They're going to have the shade the same as that. Now I've got some Lothern blue. I'm going to do this fur. Now Lothern blue is a layer paint, so it will go on nice and bright and dull itself down. So don't panic. You see this big luminous blue fur hanging off of him, because it will sort itself out. So now I'm going to, what am I going to do now? I have to leave that to dry for a minute. So I've just just chuck some corn red onto the wet palette. So what I'm going to do is his tongue and his eyes. Take a little tiny bit. Because of the way this model is, it's a bit difficult to get into the eyes, but I'm going to get the tongue done first. And then I'll try and get into the eyes. Of course, he's got his tongue hanging out. Of course he is. It's Goblin. They always do. Right, so now what I'm going to do is, actually, that is battle ready now. But what I'm going to do is take it to the next stage now. But I just want to show you, look at the stuff. Look how nice that's come out. With very, very little effort. Yeah, there's a very easy technique there. But I'm going to leave it to dry because you see the shade's still a bit wet. And then I'm going to take it to the next level. So the first thing I do is get some White Skull's White. And I just want to bring it along. And also White Skull's Screaming Skull. Bring it along, just brush it onto here. Now it is a layer paint, so it will go on bright. Dull itself down. This is what we want. So I want it to blend in with the bone hanging off the staff. And whatever little bit's left, take off the excess. Just give this the leather a faint little dry brush down. Yeah, just to give us a worn leather effect. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some tissue on my lap, some Bane Blade Brown, and I'm going to give this Gothica Brown a little edge highlight and a dry brush, just to really pop it off. Again, Bane Blade Brown is a layer paint, so it will go on bright and dull itself down. I'm going to try and get a little bit more of a dry brush on the edges, so a little bit more than a dry brush along the edges, but then try and just give it a dry brush across. Because it will really pop off. Now with the Bane Blade Brown, you might have to give it, I might have to give it a couple of coats, to be honest with you. A couple of going overs, because it is a dry brush. It was a layer paint, and I do want to have it vibrant in a few places. Vibrant, I'm just saying the wrong words now. I want to have it a bit brighter in places than other places. And what I'm going to do as well is give the fur a bit of a dry brush. So not only does that tie it in with it, it also lightens the fur up so we can see it a little bit more. It's very simple technique. Now I'm going to try and just get a few bits in the middle there. Nice. Leave that to dry for a minute. Now I've gone with some Niblet Green. I'm just going to give it his skin as a quick dry brush, so I get the raised edges. The Niblet Green is a dry brush. It's a dry brush paint. So when you look at it, it looks like paste, but it's not. It's actually really, surprisingly, really nice. I've used this colour a few times on the channel now. The next thing to do would be to get some White Scars White and just gently go over the teeth and the claws. That's a difficult thing to do, so I won't be doing that on camera, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing. So the final thing to do is to get some White Scars White on the dry brush, and I'm literally going to dry brush all of his outfit. I want to get the raised edges. Don't panic, because it is a layer paint and it will go on bright and dull itself down. I'm going to get the cloak as well, and the fur. I get a bit of his skin, doesn't matter. fact, I am going to dry brush his skin as well. The blue fur that I've done. Give the bones a little quick dry brush. Too much. That went a bit too much there. Dear me, doesn't matter. It's okay because it will dull itself down. Sometimes I do get carried away too much instead of just stopping, but that is the joy of it, unfortunately. Now I could give this top of his mushroom dry brush again with the swim skull when that's fully dried. I'm not, not swim skull, sorry, the white scars, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to call this model done, and I'm going to say, thank you for watching. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so, guys, because it costs you nothing, but means massive to the channel. Oh, guys, as well, please, all of you hit the thumbs up button, because again, it helps the channel out in a big way. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll bring you down and show you some pretty pictures now. But until next time, oh, and thank you for voting as well, guys. Until next time, take it easy.